Hi guys, West Country Explorer here, and I'm about 2 miles east of Salisbury at Clarendon Palace, or the site of Clarendon Palace. I thought I'd come here and have a look around. Josh, I do apologise I haven't come with you. This was a bit of a last minute decision to come here, last minute plan. That's why I've come alone, so sorry about that, Josh. But anyway guys, let's go for a look around Clarendon Palace. As you can see, nice bit of countryside around. I think there would have been horse stables over this side, sort of just passing by what would have been stables. There's remains of a bit of wall over there. Would have been some kind of building there. Now, Clarendon Forest would have possibly been used as a royal hunting ground in the Anglo-Saxon times, and Norman kings did come to this area and use this area a bit. It was, as you see, a bit of in some buildings here. It was Henry II and Henry III that greatly invested in Clarendon Palace. It was about the 1500s, round about sometime in the 16th century, when the palace started to fall out of use by the royal family. I mean, it was used quite a long time by the royals. It was one of the Henrys. Can't remember if it was Henry II or Henry III. They spent so much money on Clarendon Palace. This was the second place on the list that received amount of money from them. The only place that they spent more money on was Westminster Palace. Just down there would have been the garden terrace. So there'd have been buildings sort of all along there, and then sort of gardens sort of coming down to there. So that would have been the garden terrace area. In 1164, Henry II put together the Constitution of Clarendon. Obviously it was here, hence why it was named Constitution of Clarendon. What had happened was, his predecessor, King Stephen, he'd been a bit of a weak king, didn't have very strong authority. So under King Stephen's reign, the church sort of expanded its jurisdiction, took advantage of King Stephen's weak rule to kind of take more power, so to say. And what Henry II wanted to do was, he wanted to take away some of the church's power. His argument was he wanted to restore the balance to what it was under Henry I's rule. So he put together the Constitution of Clarendon. At that time, the Archbishop of Canterbury was Thomas Becket, and he was here as well, Thomas Becket, at Clarendon Palace in 1164, and he was arguing against the Constitution of Clarendon. So that put a big rift between him and Henry II. Thomas Becket, he did go into exile for a little while after that. Such was the rift between him and the king. And of course, eventually, in December 1170, Thomas Becket got killed at Canterbury Cathedral. Now, the story that I've often heard, I don't know how true it is, but in 1170, Henry II, in a conversation with his wife, thought in a fit of exasperation with the Thomas à Becket, he just goes, "Who will rid me of this turbulent priest?" The two knights freshly back from the Crusades overheard him, thought he seriously wanted rid of the bishop, and went off and killed him. My knowledge of that particular scenario is probably heavily influenced by watching the first series of Blackadder. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the first series of Blackadder. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, guys. Down the slope. Don't slip down. I'll get a dirty wet bum if I do. Yeah, so if I remember rightly, along this bit there would have been a buildings, would have been a King's Quarter and a Queen's Quarter. I think somewhere around about here would have been a wine cellar. Right, up, down the slope. And go garden terrace from the other end. There you go. So there's a bit of a picture of what it could have looked like. Yeah. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go up there and take you to another part. So I'll just stop recording a second. I'm not sure what this bit would have been for. I mean, my initial thought is maybe was it some kind of a storage area? It's quite a deep hole, so I don't know. I honestly don't know. So I'll have another look at one of those information boards, see if they give any indication. Obviously the ground level's risen up a bit. It's filled in a bit with waste. But I'm guessing that's possibly natural infill rather than people deliberately filling it in. That's what I'm guessing. There's all these lumps and bumps over here. So I'm not sure what these would have been for. I don't know if they're natural features or would have been part some man-made features, part of the palace. I don't know. Ooh, hello. So is that llamas over there? So I don't know if that's llamas or some kind of breed of sheep. Don't look like sheep. Oh, there's an information board over there. I'll go and read that in a minute. Oh look, hang on. Oh, if I can zoom in a bit. The spire of Salisbury Cathedral. Very good, very nice. I mean, standing here today, it's very quiet, very tranquil. But I mean, it's hard to imagine what it must have been like to be here when the palace was at its height. And when the royal family were here in residence, and sort of they were here with all their retinue and all the rest. It would have been very busy here. Certainly not as quiet and tranquil as it is today. Yep, it's llamas. Just want to put a hat on them. Llamas with hats. Guys, if you've never watched that cartoon series, Llamas with Hats, go search for it on YouTube. It's very weird out there style of cartoon. I think it's definitely made by someone who was smoking a bit too many wacky backy or something. But it's brilliant cartoons. Yeah. And also, if you're going to check out Llamas with Hats, check out Salad Fingers as well. Oh, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Not far from here is Laverstock, and if I've pronounced that wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments. But in Laverstock, a while ago, can't remember how long ago, a gold baptismal ring was discovered belonging to Athelwulf, King Alfred's father. So there's quite a bit of important history going on in this place. I must admit, if I ever was able to travel in time, places like Clarendon Palace is the kind of place I'd be visiting. Coming back here, like coming to places like this, sort of back when they were at their height. I'm not sure I'd want to be here in 1164 when Henry II's having a big argument with Thomas Becket. But I suppose if I was here at the time, I could have a sneaky, quiet conversation with Thomas Becket and say, "Here, whatever you do, make sure you're not at Canterbury Cathedral in December 1170. Be somewhere else. Go for go on a nice holiday to the south of France or something like that. Talking of time travel, I was watching an early episode of Doctor Who, one of the William Hartnell stories, the first Doctor. So, like I said, a really old story, Doctor Who. In that episode, that particular story is a story about the meddling monk and the Doctor and his companions. They end up in 1066, and the monk's plan is to stop the Viking invasion. So obviously Harold Goodwin's son, he went up north to stop a Viking invasion, and then 3 weeks later he had to be down on the south coast to fight William the Conqueror. So the monk's plan was to stop the Viking invasion. That way Harold would be all fresh and ready to face William the Conqueror and end up winning it instead of William winning it. So alright then guys, that's pretty much all of the site. So there you go guys, Clarendon Palace. It's, like I said, it's a couple of miles or so out of Salisbury, so it's a bit of a tidy walk here and back again. But if you're into this kind of thing, if old ruined palaces are your thing, I'd say it's worth it. And if you're into walking as well, walking through the countryside, there's loads of sort of footpaths and sort of byways and all the rest around here, so you could make a day of it. Good old yomp through the countryside, come and look at Clarendon Palace, and then a nice sort of yomp back to Salisbury. Yeah. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. I mean, the weather's not been too great today, bit damp in the air and overcast, but coming out here this morning, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. So I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be up soon. And in the meantime, the usual, stay safe, take care, God bless.